Paint effects are another effect that has presets. So just like how we set the fire to this character, and I did do a little animation so you could see that it does follow whatever you created. So if this was to be a torch or something like that in your scene, you basically can have it work as such, and it will take the movement of the character and update it. So you can see when I play this back, the particles kind of go along with the movement of it. You saw how it curved this way. If it moved a little more quickly, the particles would be having a trail left behind them this way. So I'm going to hit stop and rewind this, and to show you that we have other effects just like the lightning. And I'm not trying to create lightning, I accidentally clicked it, but lightning is going to go between, it can go between objects. So we can actually make different objects like this. I go create down to locator, and I think locators are pretty good because locators basically, and I'll duplicate this and move it over, they basically will not render. They're pretty nice and friendly, and they allow for something pretty cool. Now if I do these in a selection order, I could select these two and connect them with lightning, or I could select multiple ones and connect them with lightning. And I'll just go to modify down to freeze transformations just so I have the placement. And I'll go up to effects down to lightning, and you're going to see they're going to be connected, and as I hit play they're working. Now we're not really going to see what they look like until we render them, but what we can do is see that we have in our outliner, so window down to outliner, we have a few new nodes created for this. Now we have the locators. Let me go that this way. I'm going to hide my grid for a second there. Display grid. We have the locators, and we have some of these other parts that make the lightning. So if I select one of these little guys in here, you kind of see these little lights that are going on there. You're going to be able to find those different little controls and surfaces created here. And there's light to intensify it. So this is a preset as well. But these are curve based. You're going to see we have joints in here because they're going off of a skeletal system. And we also have some other controls. So it's going from the points on out this way and so on and so forth. Now it should have gone off of my creation. So there's some settings that we could change. I'm not really going to play with too many here, but I will do a test render. So you can see the lightning, and it's very intense, and that is partially because of our scene size. This is a very small area right here. So let me bring this into view. So right here it's very bright. We could change a lot of these different things as well. Now watch, I'm going to go ahead and move my locators, and I'll set animations to them because they'll update like this. So I will select all of them, the locators that I created earlier, the ones that I connected with lightning, and there looks to be like there's one right there. Let me select that one real quick because Maya's probably going to create its own. Yeah, there we are. So these are where they all kind of meet, and I don't see any others in here, but we can do this. I can select this and I'll move it to the center between them like so. Okay, and now you can set keys on any of these. So if you want to use this as part of your scene, I'll hit Shift W, set a key on them. That's at 113. I'll go to frame 1, and I'm going to move all of these, and I can move them however I please, and they're going to update. And this could be part of my scene depending on how I choose to place these objects. I don't believe I keyed that one right there, so it's not a big deal. I could key them. I believe I can key them. And we can scrub through to see. And that's fine for now. You get the idea. So scrubbing isn't going to get the best results. You saw how my fire particles were shooting all over the place. at the very beginning here, I'm just going to rewind. We do want to let this play back, okay? But to show you, I'll let it play a little bit and let those fire particles kind of trail. And I'll do a test render. And now we have a few things going on there. We do have the lightning that is a lot more bright and loud in this case than our fire is, so we may need to do something, or would have to do something, in order to get that to stand out. If I go from the side here, you're going to see that I can see it just fine. So depending on the angle and such, you may have to key some of the other factors in here for the fire to come out, or just the placement might be key in this case. So the nice thing is that you can key or set keys on these locators. I had to create locators or objects. You can do objects and have lightning connect to the objects, and that would work just fine. Now, if I were to select one of these lightning tubes, you see that we do have extrusions, and there's some other coding and different things going on here as well, but I do want to get down to some of the nodes. So let me see if I could find one of these guys, and it looks like it has a joint to it. I'll select it, and I may have to go into my other settings, because here's a lightning shader. Okay, this might actually work. Translucence, there we go, expression 7. Okay, so let me see the lightning shader again. Just select it. Our incandescence and all of this stuff is going off of something in here. The only thing that we have to do is figure out what is driving this, what is making it so bright. And it looks like we have a glow intensity just in our regular settings here, and we also have a light intensity. So I could put the light intensity down to 1 and try that out, and the glow intensity down to 0.25. And the cool thing about this is that the spread is how thick this is. If we put, or sorry, how many lightning peaks and stuff that we have is the thickness I was thinking of, because our scene is pretty small. I might need to bring that down. And you're going to see that we have the different strands. Now, the cool thing about this is that I'll put this back to 1. I'm going to try to select different strands, and let's see if it lets me do this all at one time. Okay. And it looks as though it isn't. But if I take one, I'll take an interesting one like this guy right here. Just going to select it, and it's not giving me my options that I wanted. So I do need to find this little node, looks like. Handle, locator shape. Okay, so what I'm looking for was the settings I just had. Okay, I may need to go to the channel box to find it. Here we go. Here's one of them. Somehow let me select it there. So I'll try to shift select all these little dudes. Could have swore I selected one just a second ago and it didn't bring these settings up. But it doesn't really matter, because what I can do is I just want to show that there's a start and an end to this. And why am I not seeing them now? There they are. Lightning start, lightning end. And since start is at 0, it's basically saying that the start point is going to be the point at which this shoots the lightning out. And it is at 100% when it reaches the other object that the lightning is connected to. So we're going to key the lightning end. Unless we want it to go in the reverse order, then we have to set the lightning end to 0 and the lightning start, watch, let's see if it'll do it, yeah, like this, to have it grow out like that. Okay, but in this case, I'm going to key the lightning end, and let me go to the first frame, right click, key selected, right, and I'll go to frame 50, and I'll put this at 1. Right click and key it. So when I hit play, you can see it starting to travel out. I'll do a test right there, and there it comes. So it's shooting out this way and going into its other sections, and there you go. You can see how it connects. So these are different effects that you can use, and there's so many ways of using them. You can change the different colors of light if you want to have like a scene where light versus dark, maybe blue versus red, like like the lightsabers on Star Wars, you could change the colors here. So I could put red to 1, green and blue to 0, and now when I render this, we've got a crazy amount of red, so I might have to put maybe 0.5 and 0.5. But these are things you're all going to have to play with. That's pretty sweet. And part of it's going off of the glow and all that good stuff. So you can actually key the colors and it will change colors. So if I did something like 0.25, right? I'll just key these. Key selected. At the beginning, I'll key it at 1 all around. Right? Maybe at 50, I'll change it. This one's going to be 0.25. The red's going to be high. 0.25. Right click, key selected. And I'll just let it play for a second, and we'll see if I do a test render here. Save that image. Let it play. It should be changing colors. These should be shifting. I'll do another test render. And if we go between the two, it's still kind of a reddish color. So I might need to bring that red down and bring these others up. Maybe towards the end here. Yeah, just do it right there. And key them. And now there's shifting colors right here. So you can see that went from a red to, can't even really tell what that is. There's such a bright color. And the fire is huge, which is pretty dynamic, right? Get some Michael Bay up in here, blowing things up. So let me play it a little past this, see how it becomes what color, and just bring this up. I'll save that and I'll do another test render. And so we have the different shifts. So these are the dynamics that we'd have going on here. Our scene would be very bright, very crazy, and the colors are shifting and changing. So the light intensity you can have even go down. If I put it down right now to like 0.5 and I do a test render, there it is right there. If I do the same thing with the glow intensity, you're seeing how things are changing pretty drastically. Yeah, and we just blow it out. And when we blow it out, it gets to the point where it is just like white light to us. So a lot of settings to change, a lot of things to play with, and I recommend that you just take a little time with this. You guys are going to have dynamics and simulations, so don't spend too much time on these because these are really fun. Look at me. I got into a tutorial of this, and I really want to take you guys into some of the other things like paint effects. So it looks like the next tutorial will be on paint effects when this one was supposed to be. So here is the second one for basic effects, the presets that you can use. This one was the lightning, and there's still fireworks, smoke, shatter, curve, surface flow, and lots of tweaking.